Like somebody, some of you play video games, right? You play online games and you're just always in the game. You're drowned in the game. You're doing hold in the game. Somebody's into cars. They're always talking about cars. They're always thinking about cars. The background phone, the background on their phone, the wallpaper is a car, right? They're always watching videos on cars. They're always, looking at updates on, this person is doing hold in cars. You see? Hold actually means when people are drowned. A good word to understand this nowadays is when people are addicted to something. When they're addicted to something. And this is really interesting because there's even books on this. You should look up a book called The Age of Addiction. This age we live in now, before this age, people used to talk about alcohol addiction, right? Gambling can become an addiction. People that go to gambling, they don't just go once. They go back, they go back, they go back. They lose their house, they lose family, and they can't stop. Drugs can become an addiction. And many of you might already know the social media giants of the world, like Facebook, Instagram, these companies, they went to the top casinos in the world when they were first developing their behavior, because their apps have algorithms to make sure that the users that they have stay on the app. So they don't just want you to turn TikTok on and then turn it off. They want you to turn it on and then swipe again and then swipe again. So they had to study behavior, right? So they actually went to the casino industry and they got the best psychologists, because the casino industry first hired psychologists to make sure that when people sit on that slot machine to get the money out, how do we keep them there? How do we keep them there as long as possible so they can stay more addicted? The same people who engineered the behavior in the casinos and the gambling industry in Las Vegas were some of the same engineers that modeled the behavior for, social media apps. They were hired by Silicon Valley to do that. Why? Because they know they can get the most out of you if you're the most addicted. If you are in hold, if you're drowned in, you can't get out. And if you don't do it again, you feel something missing inside you. Somebody who's addicted to alcohol, they drink, they feel like they're done. They go 1 hour, 2 hours later, I gotta have it again. I gotta do it again. Give me another one. Their stomach is hurting. They're still drinking. They're in pain. They're still drinking. They're half asleep. They're still drinking. They wake up. They need a drink immediately. It's the same way with these kinds of other addictions. The addictions that are online, the addiction to entertainment. Some people are addicted to, movies, Netflix. Some people are addicted to sports. But these addictions are now the next thing Allah is talking about. When the truth comes, which is what the Quran is actually talking about, you have to deal with reality. You have to take responsibility for your actions. I have to take care of how am I going to spend my day? How am I going to spend my night? I have responsibility to myself. I have a responsibility to Allah. I have a responsibility to my family. I have to take care of all of these things. But if you don't want to accept that truth and you want to escape reality, you can go find yourself lost in one addiction or the other. And you can go inside of a khawd. Even to the point where, what some people do? If they hear a little bit of, you're at a gathering, because Eid, a lot of people had Eid gatherings. They got together, family got together, they're sitting and talking. And somebody brought something up about Allah's deen. And you'll notice some people in the family, immediately they change the subject and they want to do khawd in a different subject immediately. And they want to talk about it. And they're, oh, no, what about that UFC fight? What about this game? What about this movie? Oh my God, that was amazing. And they want to keep talking about it. And if they do talk about the deen, they talk about the deen as a joke. It's like it's something funny to talk about. And even then, Allah even describes, حَتَّى يَفُوضُوا فِي حَدِيثٍ غَيْرِهِ. Don't talk to them when they're talking about your deen until they go and start diving into some other subject. They want to get immersed in this and this and this. Now, you and I have to ask ourselves, this is not a criticism of humanity. It's just you and me have to think about ourselves. Whatever I'm diving into every day, does it have a purpose or is it just me playing around? That's the real question I have to ask myself. Judgment Day, Allah says, وَيْلٌ يَوْمَئِذٍ لِلْمُكَذِّبِينَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي خَوْضٍ يَلْعَبُونَ. They were drowned in things and they kept playing around. And every time the Quran was being called to, the truth was being called to, responsibility, because Judgment Day is all about responsibility, isn't it? That's all it is. Judgment Day is court. And what happens in a court? The judge tells you, you are responsible for what you did. That's all it is. You have to present yourself in court. And anybody who knows they have a court date coming and they have a trial coming, they'll get ready for the trial. That's what happens in this life. It's the same logic for Judgment Day. But someone who's not getting ready for the trial and they're playing and they're too addicted to their games, right? Then they're going to be in big trouble on that day. And somebody says, hey, the trial date is tomorrow. The trial is next week. Come on, let's go. Get ready. You're not ready. You didn't finish your work. It's going to be held against you. Get out of here, man. Let me play. That's not true. These people are so extreme. They're so extreme. They're so negative. Let me just live my life. You know? There used to be a time where people, philosophers were talking about capitalism and communism. Atheism came. Now we're in a new world. We're in emotivism. Your emotions are the new religion. Let me just feel good, man. I just want to feel good. Let me just live in my feelings. And this is actually the description that Allah is giving of these people on Judgment Day when He says, الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي خَوْضٍ يَلْعَبُونَ. And when someone's drowned in something, they're not moving. They're stuck. They're in the same place. When you find people that have an addiction, you meet them last year, they were exactly the same place. You meet them next year, they're exactly in the same place. Like the world changed, but they're exactly in the same place. You know what? When people don't move, then Allah will make them move. So He says, وَالَّذِينَ يَوْمَ يُدَعُونَ إِلَى نَارِ جَهَنَّمَ دَعَى. They'll be pushed towards the fire of hell. They're going to be pushed because they're not moving themselves. They don't want to go. هذه النار التي كنتم بها تكذبون. This is the fire that you were calling a lie. أفسحر هذا? Is this magic? أو أنتم لا تبصرون, or you can't see? Because you say, I don't see any fire. When you used to say, hey, astaghfirullah, don't do that. You should be afraid of Allah. You should be afraid of Judgment Day. Oh yeah? Oh, I should be afraid of fire? I don't see any smoke. I don't see the temperature increasing. Where's the fire? Allah says, oh, is this a lie too? When Judgment Day comes? أم أنتم لا تبصرون. You don't see it. اصلوها فاصبروا ولا تصبروا سواء عليكم إنما تجزون ما كنتم تعملون. Now go enjoy it. Go inside it. You want to be patient now or you don't want to be patient now? It doesn't matter anymore. Now it's of no value. Now your sabr is of no value. Now I want to wrap this khutbah up on the flip side, on the other side of this equation. Is what Allah says is going to be the people that are not in trouble on Judgment Day. Allah says, إِنَّ الْمُتَّقِينَ فِي جَنَّاتٍ وَنَعِيمٍ. That's all He says. People that protect, the people of taqwa are in Jannah and they're relaxed. That's what He says. And the rest of the ayat are a description of Jannah, which may be for another time. But what I want you to think about is actually the word muttaqeen. The word muttaqeen, which we hear all the time, we should have taqwa, comes from the word wiqaya, as you might know. Wiqaya means to protect. Waqayaqi, we use this, a derivative of this word, we use this in the dua. Waqina adab an-nar. It's from the same word as taqwa. Qina adab an-nar, protect us from the punishment of the fire. That's what it means. Like Allah says, qu anfusakum wa ahlikum nara. Protect yourselves and your families from the fire. Ittaqa, or a muttaqi, is someone who protects themselves. So if you go home and you lock the door, when you walk in, you lock the door behind you, you just did a little bit of taqwa. That's a little bit of, because you protected yourself. So sometimes we translate taqwa as the fear of Allah. Actually, fear is khawf in Arabic, khashiyah in Arabic, wajal in Arabic. There are lots of words in Arabic for fear. Taqwa is not one of them. Taqwa actually means when you protect yourself, when you take precautions. Like when somebody goes to Hajj, Allah says, وَتَزَوَّدُوا فَإِنَّ خَيْرَ الزَّادِ التَّقْوَى. Go make sure you pack enough things to take with you, because the best, the best provision is precaution, to protect yourself. So that it has a material meaning too. Now, what does this do in this ayah? This ayah is saying the people that protected themselves, that were on guard, so they saw themselves going into a behavior that's becoming an addiction, and they said, I need to protect myself. Then they saw some company, when they're in that company, they start going into some kind of khawd. Oh, no, I need to protect myself. So they were constantly protecting themselves, cutting themselves off from opportunities to slip up. that are all around us. They're around you, they're around me. Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. And by using the word al-muttaqeen, it's like someone who's always careful. They're never relaxed. They're always on guard. They know that I can slip. So Allah says, إِنَّ الْمُتَّقِينَ فِي جَنَّاتٍ وَنَعِيمٍ. And so I leave you with this gift from Allah Azza wa Jal. Okay, we have to live carefully now, and I have to constantly mind myself, and I'll mess up, I'll slip, I'll make a mistake, then I have to get back and get careful again. Then I'll slip again, then I have to, it's a constant struggle. I have to keep doing it, and keep doing it. And at the end, Allah says, فِي جَنَّاتٍ وَنَعِيمٍ. When you get there, you people, you get gardens, but more importantly, you get na'im. And na'im comes from nu'uma, which means softness, and also means relaxation. They finally they don't have to have any taqwa now. They don't have to be careful now. They can just, I can relax. So what does Allah do? Allah shows us two pictures. There's a person who's in na'im right now. فِي خَوْضٍ يَلْعَبُونَ. They're just playing around, relaxed. They don't care. They're chilling, right? And then there's the people of taqwa who will get to relax later on. You decide which one. You will get to relax. You can relax now, or you can relax later. You can relax temporarily now, and then be in a lot of trouble later. Or you can be extra careful and protect yourself right now, and then relax forever later. That's a choice humanity has to make. That's a choice you and I have to make. May Allah Azza wa Jal protect us from any form of khawd that takes us away from the truth and makes us from the mukaththibin. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us a people of taqwa that are going to be entered by Allah's rahmah into His jannat and into na'im. بارك الله لي ولكم في القرآن الحكيم ونفعني وإياكم بالآيات والذكر الحكيم.